Your world, your challenges, your faith. When faith within engages the world without, there's power. It's living life from the inside out.
Welcome to Inside Out. I'm Martha Manikas Foster. Almost 1.5 million people live in nursing homes today, many with no one to visit them. Our guest today wants to change that. He's Ed Johns, Angel Ed to his friends. He works with the Turn a Frown Around Foundation, and his goals are modest. He wants to help abolish loneliness in every nursing home across the nation. Welcome, Ed, to Inside Out.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's my experience that a great number of people living in nursing homes do not have regular visitors. We're going to get into some ways in which we can help change that, but why do you think that that's the situation as we have it now?
Well, from what I see in nursing homes, there are some people in there that have no family. You know, they've outlived everyone and they're the last. But a lot of people, they have family that are real close. I've been doing this for over 8.5 years myself, and I hear a lot of horror stories also. It's a very busy world. We're all busy. We all have so many things to do now, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons. Another reason is they forget. You know what I mean? They put them in a nursing home, and that's it. They never see them again. I have so many horror stories, which I'm not going to get into, but I mean, they're just really, really bad stories. The one I know, she had 2 sons that lived 5 minutes away, and they never visited her, ever.
And you think they honestly forget? You think they honestly forget?
I won't say forget, like they totally forgot. It's just not a main concern of people these days is what it is. It's definitely not forgetting because they know they put them there. But it's not a main concern. We're so busy with our lives, and it's heartbreaking to me because I can go into a nursing home and I can point to you which person doesn't get a visitor just by looking at them.
And what do you see? What would I see when you pointed to that person?
I call it doom and gloom. They just have nothing but sadness on their face. And there's nursing homes I go into, and I can tell you where the person's going to be sitting because they're in the same spot every day.
Oh, right.
They're sitting there waiting for someone to come in, honest and truly. A lot of them are right by the doors, right by the elevator. You know, when people come off, they're just waiting for people to come in. I'll go in there, and I talk to everybody. I go to so many nursing homes, I just talk to everybody because I love them all. And when I go in there, I'll hug somebody, and they'll hug me back, and they won't let me go. And I'll say, no, please take me with you. Please don't leave me here. It's heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking.
So you talked about what it can look like when somebody doesn't get a visit and how heartbreaking that is. How have you seen how a regular visit, like maybe only 20 minutes a week, how have you seen something like that make a difference in the life of someone who lives in a nursing home?
I've seen lives change just from 20 minutes a week. You know, I've been doing this for 8.5 years. I was doing it for 7.5 by myself, and then Turn a Frown Around came to me in February last year, and I started helping them. I see lives change. The one nursing home in particular, it's called a residential health care, and it's totally different rules. It's like one step ahead of a boarding house. And there was 24 people there. The founder, Drew Horn, does inspirational shows at nursing homes, and we went in there. It was the first time I was in this place. It's only like 10 minutes from my house.
Oh, okay.
And we walked in, and this was the doom and gloom on everyone's face. I mean, I walked in, and I almost started crying. I just looked around, I was like, oh, this is so bad. Because I called and I talked to the manager there, and out of 24, I think it was 20 of them never got a visitor. Out of 24. And he was doing a show, and then he even asked, because he said, no, that can't be right. You know, he said, how many people here never see a visitor? And everyone raised their hand.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was the saddest place. There was no talking. There was no smiling. There was no nothing. When we first got there, there's nothing, not even talking. And then he got people to laugh a little bit. And I told God that day, I said, I'm going to change this place myself. I'm going to make this place a much better place for these people. It's just not fair. They had no activities. There was nothing there for them to do. So I started going down there 3-4 days a week. Just spending time with all of them. We became very good friends. I was doing it for months and months by myself. And I taught the churches in that area to try to get forever friends. We call them a forever friend, someone that goes at least once a week for 20 minutes.
Okay.
And I came home the one night after doing this for months, and I was just so exhausted. I have multiple sclerosis. And I was so exhausted, I just sat on the bed and I prayed to God. I said, God, I can't do this by myself anymore. There's no way. I said, you got to give me help with this. And I'm like bawling. And the next day, the grace of God is just so strong and so amazing to me. The next day, I got phone call after phone call
Really?
of people wanting to be a forever friend, just at that nursing home.
Wow.
So I talked to a few churches in that area,
Yeah.
and these people that I talked to from the church, just that day, they all started calling me.
Oh,
I
my.
had got the place filled that day.
Thank
They had
God.
it
Yeah.
filled. Absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Now, you said you visit nursing home residents. Clearly, it takes a considerable amount of your time, and it sounds like it brings you great joy. But you do, as you said, have some mobility issues because of your MS. What do you say to people who say, well, I don't have what it takes, or I have some mobility issues, or I'm not an extrovert, or I'm not talented like you are? What do you say to them about what their abilities are for this kind of volunteerism?
We can all do this. There's really nothing to it. I have no special gift with this. It's just you have to have the love in your heart for others.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you walk into the nursing home, your heart is just going to just melt. It's so sad in so many nursing homes. A lot of nursing homes are great, but it's still sad if you don't ever see a visitor. Can you imagine waking up every day knowing you're never going to see anybody?
No.
I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine that at all. But I tell people when you first go in that are, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do.
Right.
When you walk in the room, just look around at all the pictures. Look around at everything that's in the room, because that's what that person enjoys. I brought one forever friend. It was a male from my church. And we went in, and the guy, he had Phillies posters, and he had NASCAR. There was a million things to talk about. You know what I mean? And even if there's just a few photos, just ask them, oh, what's this photo here?
Right.
And they will go on. They are starved for attention, and they are starved just to talk to somebody. They just want someone to love them. They want to know that they're needed. You know what I mean? That there is a purpose for them.
Yeah.
A lot of people go into a nursing home, and the one gentleman told me he went there to see his wife, and he said, this is God's waiting room. A nursing home is God's waiting room, and he hit it right on the head. But a lot of people go there, and they think, my life is over. It's not over. That's why we go in there and do what we do. We get them pumped up about their lives. It's not hard. And people with a disability, we need to get out. You know what I mean? I could sit home and feel sorry for myself, but I don't. There's no reason for that. We have to get out there because I'm in pain 24 hours a day. And then sometimes it's extreme. And some days I wake up and say, God, man, I don't know if I can do it today. I'm in so much pain, and my legs get so stiff. And he gives me the power. All you have to do is ask. All you have to do is ask the Lord, and he will come through for you. But like I said, people with disabilities, a lot of them stay in the house. They're also, in solitary confinement is the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing in the world for anybody. That's how they break people, when they put them in jail and put them in solitary, because that's the worst thing in the world. And it's great for them to get out, because when I get out there and I'm with them, I forget about my troubles.
So it's mutually beneficial there, you're saying, right?
Oh,
Everybody benefits?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people on Facebook that are doing this, my Facebook friends. I have a bunch of people with MS doing it, and you forget about your troubles.
Yeah.
Even if it's for 20 minutes, you forget about your troubles, and you feel so good. When I leave, I feel so pumped up and just so wonderful, because I see their lives changing.
Yeah.
I see people that have no hope at all. I mean, no hope at all, smiling, laughing, communicating. I had one guy, Herman. He's the best person in the world. But I went in the nursing home, the one that had the 24 people.
Right.
And the second day I went back, I just went in everybody's room. Hi, my name's Ed. I'm going to be visiting you guys. What's your name? And I just went down the hallway and did that with everybody. When I got to Herman's room, I said that to him. My name's Ed. What's your name? And he told me. And I'm getting ready to leave. He goes, Ed, could you sit down for a minute and just talk to me? And I said, sure. And I was there for 45 minutes talking to him. He was so depressed.
Oh.
He wouldn't talk to anybody. I did cry a little bit when I was with him. This was about a year ago. Now, he's like a social butterfly, man. I mean, I'm in his room talking to him, and he's sitting up, he's smiling, he's laughing. People are walking by saying, come on in, and just happens to other residents come in his room. He never did that before. He calls me his savior, and I said, no, I said, Jesus is your savior. Jesus brought me to you.
Yeah.
But he's turned his heart to God.
Wow,
he
good.
prays every day. Absolutely. Now, his life has changed, and that happens to just about everybody. They just want to be acknowledged. That's the whole thing.
I generally like to think about it as that if I was in that position, right, how would I feel about not seeing anybody else? How much would I appreciate conversation with somebody, even if it's going through that scrapbook that's, at the end of my bed, telling somebody about the people who are in those pictures?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The most beneficial thing for them is to have someone to talk to.
Yeah. Now, Ed, how did you start out going to nursing homes? I can't imagine you've been doing this your whole life. So what is it that started you to do this?
My story is a pretty wild story. I love it, the way God has done everything to get me to this path. Well, I wanted to go to Lourdes, France. Lourdes is where the Blessed Mother was seen. I think it was 1856, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
And Bernadette, a young peasant girl, saw her, and she had her dig in this one spot, and healing water came up. And thousands of people go to Lourdes every year to be healed of their illnesses into the healing water. And I was going to go in 2004 when I heard about it, and they were totally booked up, the group I was going to go with. And I was very upset about that. I didn't understand why God didn't want me to go and to be healed of my MS. I was thinking about myself and myself only. And so I had to wait a whole year, and I went in 2005, and there was 44 other people on a pilgrimage. I didn't know any of them. And I met this one lady, Donna, and she had Alzheimer's. And she could not speak, but she could understand me. And she would always flirt with me with her eyes. We had so much fun. And I could understand hers, even though she couldn't talk. I knew what she was trying to say. And her father and her sister were with her also. So when we came back from Lourdes, she was in a nursing home about 20 minutes from my house. I was not a person who visited nursing homes. It was not something that I did ever.
Yeah, so this wasn't like, something that would just fit into a routine you already had. Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
No, this is the first time ever for me. And I went in to visit her, and I was just sitting there. I'd talk with her and hold her hand, even though she couldn't talk back. And then she was on the Alzheimer's floor in a nursing home. There was 55 women on this floor. They all had Alzheimer's. And I would come out of her room, and I would look around. There was never a visitor there for any of these people. I mean, never, ever. I was the only person up on the floor. So I would go around, and I would talk to all 55 women. And I would go anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week. I'd be there for 2 to 3 hours. Some of them with Alzheimer's, they just walk around the floor the whole time.
Right.
And they'd come around to me, hi, how are you? And they'd say the same thing to me each time. You know what I mean? Which is fine, just as long as they were acknowledged.
Right.
This is August of 2005 when I started doing it. In October of 2005, my friend Donna died. And I went back to the nursing home. I talked to the head nurse. I said, do you mind if I keep coming back here? I have such a bond for these people. I love these people. And she looked at me, and I get very emotional with this. She said, you know what, Ed? They don't remember anybody. They don't even remember the nurses, but they all remember you. And just from that, just from her saying that, it struck something in me. And it's like God gave me this gift. So whenever I go to a nursing home, I'm attracted to go to the Alzheimer's patients. I just go right to them like a magnet because they're the loneliest of the lonely.
Yeah.
On Alzheimer's units, up to 85% of the Alzheimer's patients never get a visitor ever.
Never.
If there's 100 people, only 15 of them get a visitor.
They've already lost so much, and then they don't have family or friends coming.
Well, and it's very hard for the family. I understand that.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very hard, and I've been on Alzheimer's floor when there was a family member there, and the one thing that happens, which I don't really like, but I don't say anything, like the mother will be there with the daughter, and she'll say, this is my sister. And the daughter gets upset about that, and they start arguing back and forth, and the mother starts crying. I tell people, not when they're arguing, of course, but I tell people they're in a different world now. Just whatever they say is golden to me. That they say that I'm their boyfriend, I'm their boyfriend.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Whatever
No.
they
Right,
say,
right.
you go with what they say because that's their world now,
Yes, I totally understand.
Matter.
I'm sure that somebody's written a list like this, but my personal experience would be you don't go in, you don't quiz the person, you don't try to see what they remember. You go with, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm your daughter. And sometimes they say things I'm sure that can hurt your feelings, but the fact is that it's about trying to delight them. It's about trying to delight them.
That's what it's all about. We're there to make them happy. They get me, I'm not their daughter, I'm their son, or whatever it is. Who cares? You know what I mean? This is their world now. Just let it be happy, a place for them. Just agree with whatever they say. That's what I do at an Alzheimer's unit. Whatever they say, that's golden. That's 100% correct. They smile and laugh. They're human beings. They're the same. They're the same as us, but their memory's just not the same anymore. You know what I mean? And they want to be loved. And a lot of people say, well, I'll go there, I'll visit, I'll leave, and they'll forget. That's fine. Just as long as you made them happy for that minute,
for that
2
moment,
minutes, that 5 minutes.
Yes,
right.
Right. This is just my observation. I think that it doesn't matter about me. I have a very full life. For the people in the nursing home, generally, they don't. And if I can contribute to that moment in their life, let it not be about me. It's about them. It's about them.
That's what it's all about. Absolutely, man. That's what I tell everybody. We go there for them, not for ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's do this for the right reason.
Yeah. Well, let's say someone's listening, Ed, and they say, wow, I'd like to do this, or I've been intending to do it and I just never get around to it. It keeps being on that long to-do list that I never turn the page on. I never check off that part. How can somebody get started to visit somebody locally in a nursing home? You're asking for 20 minutes a week, right?
Yeah.
How can somebody start to be one of these forever friends?
It's very simple. And we're also asking, which is going very good too with what interviews I'm doing on the Christian radio stations, we're asking churches to adopt a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's working very well. And the thing that I love about that, there'll be a group of like 3 to 4 people from a church. After church, they'll all go into the nursing home together with a group, which makes it a little easier.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
Absolutely. And then they all get the residents there. They get their friends, and they all go in like to a lounge area. All of them will be together.
Ooh.
And they'll all be talking, which is beautiful. But the great thing about this is when the forever friends leave, the residents are now friends.
Ah.
And now they have someone else to talk to.
Uh-huh.
That's what I love about that the most. You know, it's great to get everybody together. If you're there with a small group, it's easier for you to get conversation started because the whole group is talking.
I know we've gone in with a guitar and a pianist and led a few hymns or led a few songs that are from the era that the people are from. And then it's a lot easier to talk to people. Well, I bring song sheets. I photocopied them to be large print, and some people follow them, some people don't, but there's an awful lot to be able to talk to people about after you've helped them turn a page or you've got something to be about, right?
Absolutely, and they love music. You know, my church, we go down to the nursing home, the one that was so bad. We go down every second Sunday, and we do a service down there for them. Mm-hmm. And they sing so loud and so joyously. It just amazes me. The first day, I was like, wow, they are really, really into it. You know, I was not expecting that. And they love us. I mean, they expect us there every second Sunday, and it's just a beautiful thing.
Well, and I'm sure that lots of people who have visited nursing homes already know this, but it seems like the memory of music lasts longest.
I think so, absolutely.
And so if you want to connect with somebody who you're finding it more difficult to connect with any other way, singing frequently does it. I was able to hear people who hadn't spoken for a long time, but they could sing. They could sing from their memories. Yeah. At that place where we do this service, there's Alzheimer's patients there, and they know the songs. Man, they don't even have to read it. We bring a songbook. They don't even have to look at it. They know the words, and that's just amazing in itself. So, Ed, how can people connect with you? What you do, you can go to our website, which is www.turnafrownaround.org. That's www.turnafrownaround.org, O-R-G. And you can also call my number. It's 908-454-8818. That's 908-454-8818. And like I said, we love churches to come into this, and you can adopt a nursing home close to the church. And also, if you don't have a church family, just give me a call. We'll get a nursing home that's close to your house because we like it to be convenient for everybody. And if they're not already with us, I'll give them a call. I'll get them with us, and you can start visiting right away. Wonderful. Thanks so much, Ed, for sharing your enthusiasm about this with us and for joining us here today on Inside Out. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. We've been talking with Ed Johns, coordinator of the National Nursing Home Initiative for the Turn a Frown Around Foundation. I'm going to post that link that he's talked about and that phone number on our website, along with a podcast of this conversation. I'm Martha Manikas Foster with Inside Out on Family Life.